What's going on, everybody? A year and a half ago, we had Jordan Walker on our cover trying to show you the power that he had. Today, he's the talk of spring training. And today on Quick Hits, I've got Geoff Pontes with me, Carlos Collazo here to talk about maybe the most powerful prospect in baseball. Geoff, tell us a little bit about Jordan Walker.
Yeah, and I think when you look back, to his draft year, he was in that 2020 prep class, the tough class for everybody, tough evaluations. We don't really know how much he would have even risen had he had a full season. Comes from a great background. I know, was committed to Duke. Ended up, going in the first round. I think to some people was probably a little bit of a surprise pick, but it's one of those times you got to bet on the athleticism, bet on the impact. And what we've seen thus far, he's really developed into one of the top prospects in the game. And as you said, probably the buzziest name in spring training over the first week.
Absolutely. I think even looking back at that 2020 draft, there's a real case that he's the first overall player off the board if you redraft it. But in terms of the hitter he is, Geoff, we've heard about the power. Everyone talks about it. He's a big hulking guy. What sort of hitter is he specifically? What kind of power are we talking about with him?
Yeah, and I think, if you look at some of the contact numbers, some of the chase numbers, they're not all that refined yet, but he's one of these guys where, his bat is so big, he's so long. He really uses, his longer levers to his advantage. He can cover stuff sort of on that gray area on the outer part of the plate and still, barrel that stuff, hit it to the opposite field if he needs to. When you look at the power, everything here is built around that power and impact. It is Stantonian, the kind of impact that Jordan Walker has. You look at the data that we have up here. 90th percentile exit velocity, 108 miles per hour. That would be among one of the top power hitters in all the game. His average exit velocity is above average to plus already for a major leaguer. This was a guy that was 20 years old for the entire season, playing in Double-A, handling against maybe the highest level of competition in the minors. Played a full season, followed it up with a great AFL. He was one of the stars there. Of course, was featured in the Fall Stars game. We had a great moment where at the end of the game, he just missed a homer off of his own teammate, Tink Hence, when the American League team ran out of pitchers. But once again, it's not a guy that's selling out with sort of this crazy launch angle swing. We have his hard hit angle here, which is his launch angle on balls of 95 plus that were in play last season. It's only 11 degrees, which is sort of in that perfect range. He's not overswinging. He's not trying to power it out. And there's probably maybe some even more power projection within this profile as he makes more contact, refines his approach, and maybe adds a little bit more natural launch. It's a really exciting player.
Yeah, the bat sounds absolutely electric. But in terms of making the team out of camp, is there a chance that he can make the team early on? The bat sounds like it could fit in any big league lineup. Where is he playing defensively? How does he fit with this Cardinals team? When is he going to reach the majors? Because he's done it at the upper levels of the minors. But how quickly should we expect him at the big league level?
Yeah, there's been a lot of buzz, a lot of talk about Walker potentially breaking camp with the Cardinals. The one thing that he probably doesn't have going in his favor, and I forgot to mention this a moment ago, but he was a third baseman up until maybe the last 2 months of last season. He's probably got 40, 50 games in the outfield. They moved him out to the corner outfield, of course, with Nolan Arenado, perennial all-star and potential MVP candidate every season. It's really hard for him to sort of slot in there every day and plays third base. He's not moving a great defensive player like Arenado off of third. He's got a big arm. He runs pretty well. We've looked at his sprint speeds are near elite during the spring training period. I think that he probably gets some run in AAA early. The Cardinals have a lot of depth within that outfield. They don't need to push him. They don't need to make him break camp. That said, if he keeps doing what he's been doing over the first week for the next 3 weeks and the end of March comes and he's still with the team, it wouldn't shock anyone, I don't think, if he breaks camp. And of course, we know what some of the new rules are within the CBA where, the Cardinals bring him up. He wins Rookie of the Year, is one of the finalists. He's a guy that could get an extra pick for. So there is some benefit to him potentially breaking camp. I just think that they, knowing the Cardinals, how they play things, and just sort of my own reporting covering the Cardinals system, I think Jordan's probably going to end up in Memphis for half a season. They bring him up in July if there are any injuries, in the outfield to any of those players, O'Neill or Carlson or whoever might struggle. He's a guy that's like, plug and play immediately and big impact. So I wouldn't bet on him breaking camp, but it's only the first week, so we don't know. Things could certainly change with Jordan Walker over the next several weeks if he keeps on performing the way he is. He's been the talk of spring training, Carlos.
He definitely has, and that was quite the breakdown, Geoff. Really appreciate that. We're eagerly anticipating Jordan Walker at the big league level. Can't wait to see what he does against those arms. He's Geoff Pontes. I'm Carlos Colazo. This has been Baseball America's Quick Hits.